sharing with Brother Larry that ministry has been my background for 18 years in Michigan, in Ohio, and then in Washington, D.C. And I've also been involved in higher education. I've been a professor for many years and ran Kettering College of Medical Arts for 10 years. And I've been in healthcare for 15 years. So it's really a remarkable journey when you walk with the Lord. You never know where you're going to end up. My wife and I have lived in every place we said we didn't want to live. Believe me, every place. But it's a joy to be together because I am firmly convinced that congregations in their ministry to the communities have a powerful impact, particularly as we leverage who we are as faith communities with healthcare and healthcare opportunities. Moses said in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19, well, let me read it to you. Larry showed off by reading from his phone. I'm always terrified of doing this. I much prefer to have the book, because it's always there. Moses said, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore, I plead, choose life, that you and your descendants may live. Choose life. Life not only eternal, but life here in community, with health, with meaning, with purpose. When we talk about choosing life, oftentimes we limit ourselves just to that physical well-being. Life is far more than what we eat. It's what we do. It's the families we have, the quality of our relationships, and the value that we find in serving and making things different for others. America has a struggle with health care. In fact, it isn't health care, it's sick care. Did you hear me? It's not health care, it's sick care. As a nation, we spend less than 1% of total health care expenditures on prevention. We would much rather have a neonatal intensive care where it's $10,000 a day for the babies than we would giving out proper prenatal vitamins and doing prenatal care to prevent low birth rate babies and infant mortality. We're about fixing things. We're not about preventing. And sadly, that has become part of the culture. Compared to other nations in the world, we are last in outcomes. Shorter life expectancy for men and women, higher infant mortality for newborns, and yet we spend 3 times as much per capita on health care than any other nation. Now, Brother Larry, if I sold you a car, and I told you all the wonderful things it could do, and I sold the same car to Brother Paul, but I charged you 3 times more than I charged him, and his car was better than yours, how would you feel about me?
I'd drive mine into his.
Yes! You feel totally hosed. And yet this is the country that we find ourselves in. It is a political, economic fact. The government has a law that you cannot negotiate with pharmaceuticals, that Medicare can't negotiate with pharmaceuticals. That's just nuts. My wife and I come from Canada, where health care is a right, not a privilege. It's a right because you are created in God's image. You are a fellow citizen, and it's my privilege to contribute to taxes that can give you that freedom. What they do in the coming elections, we'll find out. Lord only knows, but I sure know where I want it to go, because you have never seen panic. And maybe you have, because typically, clergy are the first responders to crises. the challenges that people face. Our health system, the Kettering Health Network, puts over $300 million a year into uncompensated health care. People showing up at our emergency room, we are required by law to care for them. And oftentimes, when you don't have insurance, you wait till things get really bad, and then you go to the hospital. So you take all that we do for Medicaid and uncompensated health care. It's a big number. My hospital in Florida, we were $140 million, just one hospital. So the challenges are real. What's the number one cause of personal bankruptcies in America? Medical bills. That's nuts. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that everyone has the right for what? What's that whole preamble of the Constitution say? All men are created equal. We all have the right to pursue life, liberty, and justice. Talk to me about liberty when I can't get the care that I need, when I can't afford my copay on my child's asthma medicine, or when I'm taking my heart medicine and because I can't pay for that, I cut the pills in half. This is what's going on. Now I have good news, because the news that you and I are called to do is to choose life and educate your people about what is right for the better good. But choosing life is about helping people see what can be done to make a difference. People in the world die, right? We're all going to die. People in the developing world die because of where they live. Famine, war, earthquakes, tsunamis, floods. It's not uncommon for flooding in the Bay of Bengal to take out 100,000 people. Imagine if that happened down in the Mississippi. Unheard of here, but that's just 100,000 of them, the world says. That tsunami in Thailand, 250,000. People die because of where they live. In this world, the Western world, Europe and the Americas, we die because of how we live. Lifestyle choices are the causes of our death. Cancer, diabetes, blood pressure, heart attack, stroke. Those are all diseases of lifestyle, not geographic location. And that's the issue that we have to help. You know, how many of you were born into the church you currently worship in, or the faith that you were currently worshiping in? Okay. We often adopt that which is around us as the way things have to be. Wise is the person who steps back and says, all right, this is my mom and dad's church, but it needs to be mine because God doesn't have any grandchildren. I need to make my choice there. The same thing needs to be about how we go about living and the choices that we make. Congregations are, to me, a focal point that most of society has missed in terms of being a lever for changing how we can be. Most churches are declining in their membership. Attendance Sunday morning, it's slow, but it's on its way down. What is it that brings people back? Well, you've got people trying all kinds of different things, and it's almost like a marketing campaign. But people are looking for something that's relevant, that's meaningful, something that can help them live their lives and give to that they might help serve others. And I really believe that congregations have a unique role to play in the healthcare challenges that we face today. So what are you telling your church about the COVID-19 virus? I hope you're talking about it. I hope you're telling your people like I told my people in Washington, D.C. during the 9/11 crisis. When they hit the Pentagon, 40 of our families were impacted. Turn off the radio. Turn off the TV. You're just getting dialed up and spooled up. Oh, there's one more person diagnosed. Friends, you have 42,000 people in America each year diagnosed with the flu. You got 14,000 dying. Help them get perspective and get control. Just this morning in a meeting I had with the Middletown clergy, one of the administrators said, this is the kind of panic behavior that's going on. Over the weekend, because we have masks for people who have the flu, and they're coming in to keep others safe. 8,000 of those masks disappeared Saturday and Sunday. Masks aren't going to save you. Remember the Torah? What's the Torah? What's the law of the Old Testament? And Jesus said, according to the law and the prophets, what's he talking about? The Big Ten? No. He's talking about the Big Five. The first 5 books of Scripture. That's Torah. And in there, there are teachings about how you live. Kind of instructions for planet Earth. How to plant farms, how to plant trees and vineyards, how to harvest, how to have an economy, how to worship, how to forgive, love thy neighbor as thyself. Where's that found? Is that a Jesus thing? No. Leviticus 19, verse 18. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. How they were to care and treat for each other and look after them. They had the health laws. Quarantine was done for the people with leprosy. The community looked after them, but they separated for the sake of the community. And the injunction was that if you touched anything that was unclean, what did you become? My brother, you smiled. You're absolutely right. Unclean. Unclean until you did what? You washed and you cleansed yourself. These are the causes of most hospital-related infections. Dirty hands. Moses told them about it almost 5,000 years ago, and we still don't get it. Wash your hands. Basic instructions for life are key. So I hope you speak to that, and that's the kind of partnership that the Caring Health Network would like to have with our faith communities. And I'm going to share some information with you, and it's going to become sporadic a bit here. But Brother Paul asked me to bring some information on behavioral health and counseling services. So this is something you can pass out that side. And I think I brought 20. That's what I set the copy to.
We need more copy now.
Yeah, so you can make them up. So this gives you an idea of what assessments are available, the Kettering Behavioral Medicine Center, and then Kettering Counseling Care, areas where you can refer for counseling. The family services in the Miami Valley, and where you can go for resources. We're not endorsing or saying one is better than the other. These are just resources that I know whenever I moved into a community, I looked for that first, have you got any down there at all?
No.
Oh, all right. Here, take this one, Brother Larry. Well, you're going to miss what I say. You don't want to leave, brother?
I like it all.
We can copy paper. The needs in the clergy, when it comes to mental health, you're the first ones to hear about it. You're the first ones to come and say, Pastor, I don't understand what's happening with our teenage son. This is what's going on. I can't understand what's happening with my husband. Can't understand what's going on with my wife. She just won't get out of bed. She just cries. You're the first one who's going to hear about it. What are you going to do about it? That's the question. And it's always been my modus operandi to get a list of resources, because invariably I've got to find a counselor. Every year, Kettering Health Network sponsors a mental health and clergy, the Faith Community Conference, where we bring in psychiatrists and leaders to teach about counseling. And there's a lot of counseling that some pastors can do. Some are really good at it, some are really bad. The difference comes from those who know when to refer and to get help. That's the big thing. So those are things that we teach. It's every October. This year, we're skipping October because we're doing it at a conference of 5,000 clergy in Lexington in June. And so we wanted to present it there to make that work. But those are resources that are available, and we would be happy when it comes around to make sure that your ministerial leader knows of that so that you can be aware of it, because it is a resource that is just remarkable. Whenever I've tried to get ministerial sessions going, so my Kettering ministerium was a wonderful one. We would do retreats. And when I come back to Kettering 18 years later, because we were here for the 80s and 90s and then gone for about 18 years and then came back just a couple of years ago. The ministerium doesn't exist, it's gone. And I was saddened by that, because we were doing wondrous things. We had choral exchanges and pulpit exchanges, and the community was vibrantly talking and cooperating together. But I celebrate what you have here in terms of gathering and making a difference, because as the churches speak together, we represent the community, and we always do so with the best interest of the community at heart. So I offer that resource to you as just a reference work. And on the last page of each of those handouts, there's a URL. It's a website for apps. Now, they'll never find an app to replace preaching. I'm glad for that. These are apps that are about helping people deal with life wherever they are. And again, offered, and I just got 3 examples of those so you can look at. I'll leave them up here with Brother Paul. But if you go to that website that I noted there, you'll be able to find all of this as well. So the challenge that we have is looking at society. And why do we have the problems we do as a nation? Why do we see the community struggling as we do? And I'm going to share with you a document that was provided by the Center for Disease Control. And I may have given you too many, Brother Paul, but that's okay. We'll share it. Brother Larry will take him across. He'll cross the Jordan and get him to the promised land. Why are people dying? The opioid crisis, has it impacted you here in Pickering? Yeah, tragic. Tragic. Tragic for the families, tragic for the loss of life, tragic for the first responders who are out giving Narcan to the same people week after week trying to bring them back. The Center for Disease Control produced this chart, and it talks about the 10 leading causes of death. So if extras here, Brother Larry, if you want to make a friend. Oh, and I need to thank, who made those oatmeal raisin cookies? You are my new best friend, whoever you are.
Mary Ann Downey. Right.
Well, you tell her she is my new best friend.
I get ready to story about that.
That's a meal on a plate. It's really lovely. So what you see is the 10 leading causes of death. This is what the coroner writes on your death certificate. Suicide, lung disease, stroke, accident, heart disease, cancer. This is what causes death. You'll note that this is 2015, so you get to see the incidence of opioids showing up. But what is it that caused the stroke? What is it that caused the influenza and pneumonia? You see 9 contributing factors: drug use, diet and activity, motor vehicles, alcohol and substance abuse, sexual behavior, infectious agents. These are the 9 contributing factors that give the coroner what they're going to write down that caused your death. But what is it that's core to those contributing behaviors? Why do people engage in these behaviors? Look at the 8 root causes. External and internal stress. People are dialed up tighter than a tick, and they snap at the drop of a hat. Meaningless existence. What are you going to do with life? What's the purpose of life? Why are we here? It's a question that is being asked, but it's being answered through distractions. Our little iPhones, our little apps, distract us from what's going on. Carl Jung, the founder of modern psychology, said this: busyness is not of the devil. Busyness is the devil himself. And that busyness can be workaholism, it can be distraction, it can be internet, all those things that distract you from sitting with silence and listening to the questions of life. When we came back, our grandchildren, our daughter and her husband and the grandkids came. And my wife, who's a physical therapist, looks after the grandkids Mondays and Fridays. And works the middle 3 days, which is really her rest. She said to me some Friday night, she said, we have 3 daughters. I don't know how we did it. But what a joy to see these kids discovering life. My oldest grandson, who's 7 in grade 2, found my Rubik's Cube. Remember the Rubik's Cubes? And he said, Baba, what's this? And I told him what it was, and I showed him how the different things work. He's quite mechanically inclined and loves mathematics, which is fun. So he took it and spun it around, and then he gave it to me, and he said, put it back. And I said, that's your job. So he tried, but he couldn't get it back. And he said, Baba, I can't get it back. And I said, okay, you're in grade 2, right? Yeah. You have until you're in grade 8 to figure out how to fix it. So he went, and he found things that would teach him how to do it, and he came back 2 weeks later and gave me the solved puzzle. So you know what I did? I messed it up and I gave it to him. I said, okay, put it back together. In 3 minutes, he put that back together.
Oh my God.
Amazing. He is now teaching Nana how to do it. And what's really fun, I said, Noah, what's Nana like as a student? And he just kind of said, well, she's taking a long time. But the joy of discovery and helping them learn how to make things. And you don't need this when you've got a chance to put something together with wood, or you get to go out and plant in the gardens and to experience that. But how precious it is to be able to be with little ones and help them enjoy that. Our middle daughter had a little boy in the summer, last summer, and she then had to go back to work in October. And she wanted the family members to look after Leo until he was 6 months old. So we all took a week. I spent a week with Leo, who was then at that point, I guess he would have been 4 or 5 months. And we had remarkable conversations. I've got a video of Leo holding his hand up as he's lying on the couch and looking at it and moving it around. And then, where did it go? And then it came back, you know? That joy and awe of life that we forget about. That's the wholeness of what God calls us. Jesus said, I've come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. That's not the size of the pile. It's the size of a smile. That's what makes the difference. If you look at these 8 root causes, lack of information or education. Do you know how many people don't know what health resources are available to them? It's criminal. In Florida, Tampa, Florida, where we ministered for 7 years, we went out and I had university students joining us, and they went out and they surveyed and talked to people who were having health crises. And they said, do you not know that you qualify for the Hillsborough Health Insurance Program? Oh, I can't qualify for it, and if I did, I don't know where it is. Man, it's that building right across the street from where you live. We don't know what's around us. And that's one of the things that we want to help empower congregations with, is you have your health ministry teams or whatever, to know where you can point people to go, not just to get repaired for a crisis, but to engage in ongoing health care. Federally qualified health clinics, street clinics, there are a lot of different ways of doing it, but building that community is such an important part. To me, the job description of a church is those 8 root causes. If you're not helping people find fellowship, if they can't find meaningful existence, if you can't help them deal with stress. Now, I've never heard Brother Paul preach, so I'm pretty sure it'd be a stressful experience for me. I don't know.
We all would.
Sometimes I pray for my brothers when they're preaching, sisters when they're preaching. My prayer is this: Lord, help them find the runway and land that airplane. But our low self-esteem, I mean, that's where so much of this stuff ends up. How do we build people up? How do we encourage them? How do we help them find a path forward? That's the core of what it is that we're trying to do with our ministry, of what we call our faith community partners. And I'll share with you one more handout, and then that's it for handouts, because I'll then talk about the book. Oh, here's some more of these. I'll leave those out here. So Brother Paul, if you would be so kind as to shoot those that side, and I'll keep one, and there you go. In Kansas, in Washington, D.C., and in Tampa, Florida, they created a network of congregations that wanted to make a meaningful difference for their own members and their surrounding community. The number one topic that most people are willing to talk about is health care. The number one thing on people's minds is, what do I do? Where do I go? And through our partnership with the congregations, we would provide them with a curricula, and we provide them with support. And it's a 3-part focus. We got some more coming over from the promised land here. Thank you, brother. There we go. Is your name Joshua? That's okay. John, well, that's good. That's the modern, that's the New Testament Joshua. 3 foci: the clergy, the congregation, and the community. For the clergy, nobody cares for the caregiver. You're so busy looking after other people, you rarely look after yourselves. I started a program in Kansas, and those who wanted, I ensured that they had the opportunity to have a health screening. Priest and a rabbi. Sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Priest didn't know he had diabetes and was walking with it. The rabbi was close to a heart attack and needed a heart stent. Here are people who are caring for others. They didn't care for themselves. So this is one of the things that we're going to be doing. As we move here to the community, we're going to be making that available, a wellness profile. Look at your living time, you sit down with a doctor, and they'll talk to you about it. We're not going to put you on a treadmill. You know what you can do. You'll get some ideas of it. But to help out in doing that. And the government limits us from doing things for people on Medicaid, which is too bad, because they think we're trying to induce people to come to the hospital. It's not about inducing people, it's about helping people so we'll figure some way around that. We also provide clinical pastoral education. And we're fortunate to have a very strong program. We've been going for 50 years, and we make a unit of CPE available free of charge to those who are interested, apply, and are accepted to that. But it's a remarkable way of revolutionizing your ministry. Too often, clergy leave because it gets too much. CPE, clinical pastoral education, really awakens a remarkable reformation inside, and looking at that. And then we also have, to those who are in full-time ministry and dedicated, we've got a means of providing support for out-of-pocket copay at Kettering Health Network facilities. We have the Ministry Care Line. Ministry Care Line is like a 1-800 employee assistance line. These are clergy mental health professionals, and we've been doing this now for 27 years. 14,000 families we're supporting who have access to that number. And we want to extend that here to you, to the ministerial as a group. It's open for husbands, for wives, and for kids to call. You know who calls most often? The spouse of the pastor. Because they see what's happening, and they don't know what to do. It's safe, it's totally anonymous. You do not keep any records, except that a number called. We have no idea who that number is. But we offer 2-week marriage intensives, and we bring in couples from all over to help them try to recover what they said a while ago, till death do us part. It's tough. It's tough in ministry. And it's tough in marriage. When we have tough ministry, tough marriage, it's tough. So we're trying to provide that help and that support through the Ministry Care Line. And then I mentioned to you the mental health and faith community. The World Health Organization used to poo-poo the churches in faith. Now they're turning to faith and saying, wait, if we look at the religions of the world, there's something in faith communities that happens. And that's logotherapy, talking. If I can't see a counselor, but I can talk to you, that is huge in help. And if you're providing them with godly counsel and help and listening well, that's even better. But to talk about mental health, to talk about being depressed, to talk about going to see a counselor today, you don't do that in America. And that's nuts. Seeing a counselor should be as natural as seeing a doctor. When you sprain your ankle, you've got a cough. And we can provide that opportunity for congregations to provide that help to each other. That's huge. Group ministries and all those different things, there are ways, but giving people a vision of what can happen. And not just for those who come to church. There's a whole world out there who drives by your church and what the heck are they doing there? How relevant is that? Well, if you want to be relevant, go out and offer to your community the opportunity to come and listen to Dr. Jones talk about behavioral addictions. Free lecture. Come to our church Wednesday night, Tuesday night, whenever it's scheduled. In Kansas, I have churches packed out because they got to sit for an hour and listen to a doctor talk about addictive behaviors. When was the last time you talked to your doctor for more than 5-7 minutes? So this is an opportunity for you and your congregation to become that light that shines in your community. These are the things that we provide, and you become the source of good information. Good information. Our community outreach group will help the congregation, help you look at setting up, if you don't have already, a health ministry, to help you screen and get numbers on your members. You know the whole idea, know your numbers? Your blood pressure, your blood glucose, your weight, your height, BMI. walking through Walmart the other day. I saw a gentleman sitting by the pharmacy, and his arm was in the blood pressure cuff. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "My wife's shopping." I said, "Well, what are you doing with the thing in your arm?" He said, "I was taking my blood pressure." I said, "Well, what are you going to do when you get the number?" "I don't know." And that's how it is. I just have a number. Communities of faith say, let's take your number and let's move it to where it can be better. How can we help you do that? Whether it's blood pressure, blood glucose, whether it's weight. There's a great program we had in Florida called Full Plate Diet. And our advert said, you're not eating enough to lose weight. And what they're not eating, what America doesn't eat enough of is roughage. Good salads and the fruit and all the veggies that can be there to make a life difference. The Adventist Church got involved in healthcare back in the 1860s up in Michigan. And they had a ministry there called the Western Health Reform Institute. Because in those days, it wasn't good to go and see a doctor. I mean, you were taking your life in your hands. Doctors said that smoking was good for your lungs because they saw the vapors being efficacious. If you had a sustained fever, they would bleed you because they believed that the heat was in the blood, too much heat, too much blood. All kinds of crazy things. Remember the movie Arsenic and Old Lace? All the elixirs, Uncle Johnny's Kickapoo Georges of life. You drink this, it'll make your husband handsomer, it'll make your children more obedient, and it'll make the dog smarter. It'll do everything you need. And it was the conviction of the salesman that made it work. That's still going on today. Just go to the internet and look at what people are offering as solutions for cancer. Horse collar therapy. It's ridiculous. But people are looking for hope in all the wrong places. So the church, in answering that, spoke about basic principles of health. Pure water, fresh air, a good night's rest, a healthy diet, exercise, trust in divine providence. You know how much of America is under-rested and overtired? Think about that when there's a semi behind you. Most of them are taking uppers to stay awake. You think about a healthy diet. I've got a whole thing to show you on that someday when we get together again. But in that 1800s, they didn't have refrigeration. You preserve everything by salt. And salt does what to cucumbers? It pickles them, doesn't it? And it does the same thing to you. It jacks blood pressure up. Life expectancy then was about 45 years of age. Fresh water, better diet. In fact, to help with that diet, they had a young guy, John Harvey Kellogg, who went off to medical school to learn what there could be learned. And today, to be a physician, it's 4 years of medicine plus residency, and 5 to 7 years to be a doctor. For him, he came back after 32 weeks. That's all they knew to teach him. But he was a focused researcher. He came up with all kinds of things. Applications, hydrotherapy, we're now using physical therapy, and some of the anesthetic procedures. But his big focus was diet. And he had the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan. It was huge. People came from all over the world. And to help them get a different start in food, he would take corn, grind it up, and roast it in flakes. And that's how Kellogg's of Battle Creek got started. The first Adventist physician started that as a health food. What do you think he'd look like going through Kroger's today, seeing chocolate-coated cocoa puffs and honey-roasted cornflakes? That's a good illustration of what happens when the money, the margin, is more important than the mission. Because it started out as a health food, and now it's all about making money. And if you want to read some sobering data, take a look at a project. It's called Fat, Sugar, and Salt is the name of the book. And it talks about how those food producers, big food, have so designed and defined taste and combination that it's almost addictive. So the church has had that start for many years. And in our healthcare ministry, it's about having arms wide open, because everyone who comes to us needs to be treated with respect, dignity, and care, and to help them find their places of hope and faith. And we encourage that. And our ministry with our congregations and our faith communities is very much the same way. We want to help your ministry and your mission find more power, more capacity, if that's where your congregation wants to go. So being a partner in that realm with the clergy, with the congregation, and then helping you reach out to the community by having, whether it's speakers or you have a heart month and we do screenings for the community, you begin to get a reputation for that. Because when people start talking about the change that can happen, it is remarkable. So that's leading me to this book called Creation Health. Creation Health is really the embodiment of some of those early principles. Choice, rest, environment, activity, trust, interpersonal outlook, and nutrition. And there's a chapter in each of these, and this is not written doctrinally, or this is written from the Torah, if you will, God's plan for life and the abundance of life, that we might be able to choose that. How many of you, like me, have chosen to go on a diet? This is true. We got to have more honesty here than Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's go. How many of you, like I, have chosen to get off that diet? I have never chosen to stop a diet, but I've stopped a lot of them just by going the way of habit. Choice is key. Choose you this day, said Moses. Choose life. Joshua, choose you this day who you will worship. Then rest. So I want you to read this because this is the core. We have a kit that will provide you with PowerPoints, teacher's guides. It's all there, and it's scientifically based and evidence. And this is something we developed in the Adventist health system in Florida, where we have 56 hospitals. It's a large network, but it's about what can we do to help people get better. So take a look. I've talked long enough, Brother Paul, and I will take 2 questions, and then I'm going to go home. You know, that clock is wrong.
Yeah. You know what, we're going to take another cookie or 2.
No, I didn't go get a cookie yet. Don't worry, I got a long way to go. Any questions? I know the first question is always the most difficult, so the second question. Brother there.
First, I want to say I appreciate you being here, and when I walked in Terry's hospital in Troy to see a patient there.
Yes.
All the scriptures and things, that really made me happy. My question is probably a stupid question, but I kind of enjoy being stupid a lot, so. The coronavirus is, I mean, when you see the flu, usually it kind of phases out as it gets warmer.
Right.
Would this be true of that, do you know?
That is the understanding, that it will follow, because corona is manifest in cold and in flu, so it's that same type of virus. It is a very delicate virus. Cleaning solutions, it's gone. It cannot exist or survive in temperatures above 27 degrees Celsius, which is about 82. So it's gone. And we think that it will follow that cycle. But this is the very beginning of it. And what we see today isn't what we might see in a year, because they all mutate and change and things like that. And until we all have one shot of it, either through an injection where we get a vaccine, or we actually have it, we won't be able to develop the resistances we've got now to the flu. I mean, how many flu shots have you had? A lot, absolutely. We insist that our employees take that because it's the right thing to do. to protect the employee, the people who come to us for care. And it works. It's, sometimes they get more accurate than not, but it's a significant part of public health. So that would be my suggestion to that. And we'll see it follow. Typically flu leaves here and it goes down to South America where it's cold and the like, and then it comes back when we get chilly. So that's the kind of thinking of public health. Pardon me?
It was a good question.
A very good question, yes.
Everybody's saying this coronavirus is in Lysol. Is that true?
Is in,
Lysol?
no, Lysol
It's
kills
on the
it.
can.
No.
It's on the can.
It cannot exist for more than a few hours on an object of service like that. So it may have 6 hours that will live on a hard surface and then it's gone. So it's not in any
It's
Lysol
in the
cans.
ingredients that says coronavirus.
It will kill coronavirus. It doesn't mean that it contains it. Lysol is a disinfectant.
Okay.
Read the label again.
I did, I have, and
Yeah.
I've seen it on Facebook where it's in the ingredients. Facebook has taken it off of there, where people have posted it,
Yeah.
and they've taken it off.
And this is
because
where,
they won't run.
yeah, this is where you have to be tellers of truth. And we need to be tellers of truth, not promulgators of conspiracy theories. And that is absolutely false, that coronavirus exists in Lysol. The very propellants that cause it to come out of the can kill it. And I see that we're not convinced that that's all. So what I would suggest you do, okay, do you preach?
No,
Okay, but you're part of a community, aren't you?
yes,
Go and talk to your pharmacist. Do you trust your pharmacist?
yeah.
Go and ask your pharmacist that very question.
I won't buy myself because of it.
Well, no, but that's fine, you can do it, but it's unnecessary because one of the things that we find is people will go and whatever is on the internet gets believed. And that's how
I believe
you,
everything that's on it.
well, but you're getting pretty close. Facebook and internet are there, so be careful with that. But so go ask someone you trust. Go ask a professional you trust. 1 + 1 is what? 2. Why do we dispute science if we know that 1 and 1 is 2? Go and trust them and ask, because there are people that you will influence. And I sure hope that our influence is for life, not the other side of things. Okay, one more question.
I got a question.
Yes,
When that flu is going around, and I'm speaking for my house, I have these little bottles, or you get it from Kroger's and you pump them and you use them.
you mean like the
Dial soap. It's
Yeah,
in a little
dial soap
bottle,
or
but,
any
yeah.
kind of soap, a soap
Right.
dispenser. Uh-huh.
So is that okay to use?
Yeah, the key is to wash your hands
All
and
the
to
time.
wash your hands thoroughly. So we're talking between your fingers
Right.
and rub your fingernails in your
Right.
palms. It's about, I had the grandkids singing happy birthday. And that's about the length that you want to wash your hands.
Okay, but in the germs go on the pump is what she's saying.
No,
I don't know that that's what you're
no,
saying.
I'm asking, is that okay to use?
Yes,
To
yeah.
get rid
And
of
then
the
to your
germs?
point, so here's something that you all need to think about, because using a soap dispenser,
Right.
I'm using it with a soiled finger, you go back with a cloth and you wipe that off with a
Right,
soapy
You dry
wipe.
your hands.
Exactly.
It's time, like
Yeah.
yourself.
But here's the
And
thing,
your
you've got
clothes.
restrooms in your churches, you've got all kinds of areas and surfaces. Sanitize those, just when you go through the church, wash that, and when you've got the restroom, put a waste dispenser right by the door. In the hospitals, you'll always find a waste dispenser right by the bathroom door, because you take the paper towel, you open the door, scrunch it up, play basketball, and walk on.
And they always have the hand sanitizer right there by the desk.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you can have even more. I can't keep them clean enough, is my thinking. But using that, it's the key. It's not the soap that makes the difference, it's the washing with good warm water and then drying. And just do it regularly. And then the other part is not touching your face, because The virus enters through mucous membranes, your nose, your mouth, or your eyes. And have you got a dog? Anybody got a dog? You remember the dog collars that we put on when they hurt the paw so they can't lick it? I put one on the other night and said, I know how I'm not going to touch my face. So, but those are things you got to be careful. That's the key. And it's just reminding people, this is something we can handle. It's not something that's going to come and decimate. It's something that we together as a community can rely upon each other, and we wash our hands and we move forward. I have no idea what's going to show up. Ohio had the first case diagnosed yesterday. You know why?
They might have announced it yesterday instead of today.
Well, it was diagnosed last night, so. You know why? Because we didn't have any test kits.
Right.
We didn't know. And that's what's happening in America. You're going to see the number of people who are infected or who have the coronavirus going up because now they didn't have the test kits out. They sent test kits out that didn't work. I mean, this is nuts. So they're doing a meeting today, and supposed to have a 2 meeting by the end of the week. We'll see those numbers going up. That doesn't mean that it's ganging up. It just means it's been there, and we're just now knowing what's happening. But again, wash your hands and sanitize your phones. And I did that in my office today. I went and got a Lysol full of wipes. I wiped my phone down, wiped my keyboards, wiped my computer, and wiped my desk down. You know the dirtiest thing in a hospital?
Sinks.
Sink. No, it's the handrails, the phone,
Right.
the TV controls,
Right.
and if you're in a double room, it's the hem of the curtain that separates the rooms. Why do physicians not wear ties? Because ties carry germs. That's what happens when they're exposed. So
You
anyway.
don't need to be rude, but
Oh,
we
no,
have
no,
to
no.
take her fiancé to work.
Oh, good. All right. Well, blessings to you. So yeah, that's good. I could stay and talk all night, but I'm gonna go, and if I can, Brother Paul, I'll leave that book, and I'm gonna get one cookie.
I want to thank Brother Peter Bath for coming and talking to us. The two things talking to him and hearing him talk that really talked to me is that a lot of times we this world is constantly changing, and the situations and people that we deal with are constantly changing. And a lot of times we as ministers, we're not prepared for what comes down the pipe. And to know that we have a help network that is willing to help us ministers to be able to understand how to deal with that, that's big to me. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that, we want a big congregation, we want the people, but yet we don't get so involved in their lives and we need to. And if people knew the health situation that they could help them with, it would be wonderful for churches to be able to do that. So I just appreciate the opportunity. And knowing that we have that network, that we as a church want to start a health program to help our own congregation better, we have the resources to do it.
And the ER, the Pickwick ER, is supposed to be open. Boy, I wrote it down and I forgot. The construction's coming along well. I think it's going to be open August, somewhere around there this summer. So we'll look forward to being with you. And please say thank you to my new best friend. All right, bye-bye.
All right, well, as I had stated, the other two, due to personal reasons, had to cancel. I want to point out that we're very privileged to Brother Peter Bath.
In what?
He's fine, either door can say hi.
Oh, good.
But anyway, I just want us to know that these resources that we have been given has been put on Channel 5. And I do have a sheet print off that has the YouTube sites for each day or each month that we have these. So if you wanted to go back, or if somebody wasn't here to go back and watch and glean from the information there. So all you have to do is let me know, and I will send you a copy that has these sites, which included Gary House, city manager, talked about the city, and then January, February, March. So with that, I won't take long, but we'll go ahead and continue with our thing. The first thing that's left is our community reports, and we are down to one, which is the Munch Bunch. And what I have to report is that basically, I was told it was the same as last month, where we packed like 270 bags per week. There were like 540 bags for 2 weeks. The only exception that we stated was that they had 2 weeks of snow weeks, to where schools were down, when they couldn't pack or get into. So everything's as is. If you want to be a part of next year's packing, or if you want to donate, we have the contact person being Kathy Bramlett. I have the phone number 937-414-2811. If you wish to call her and get involved, if there's any questions about the Munch Bunch. Okay, we'll move on. I take care of the community report. Now we'll deal with the old business. And the first thing on the old business is the Good Friday service. We know that it is scheduled for April 10th, which is a Friday. I am proud to announce that we have a chairman for the committee for Good Friday. It will be Brother Will Leisure from the Queen Street Methodist Church. He'll let me know, so we still need a committee, but he'll let me know quickly what is needed and let me know about that stuff. So, if you wish to be a part of the Good Friday Service Committee, contact Queen Street Methodist Church, which is in the phone books. Any question about the Good Friday service? Okay, let's move on to the National Day of Prayer. I spoke to Brother Stephen Smidley. He let me know that he was able to get a speaker. It's going to be Brother Danny Wellman, and that he's putting out feelers for the Abundant Life Ensemble, which he wants them to perform in behalf of the National Day of Prayer, which we know is May 7th, which is a Thursday. It will probably start at noon, because every year it started at noon. And I'm almost sure that they've got the courthouse, the city building to be the location. I just need confirmation, so if you need to get a hold of Brother Stephen or be part of the committee, his number is 937-214-4986. All right, Brother Don, I'm going to try to say this correctly. The next one, was there any questions about the National Day of Prayer? All right. The next one is the baccalaureate. Right. Okay, there was a concern about the, I need to confirm the date. I know that Pickford Baptist Church had a meeting at one time. They said it was going to be like May 17th.
We found it was.
Yeah, and then we found out it was 24th, so it is May 24th. So the confirmed time, or date for the baccalaureate is the 24th of May.
And graduation is that next Friday, the 29th, if anyone's concerned or wants to know.
What's that again, please?
The high school graduation will be that following Friday, the 29th.
Okay.
What time?
Of graduation?
No.
Baccalaureate, 7.
Do you have any other information, Brother Don, you can share with us on the baccalaureate that I might not know of?
Todd's hard to get a hold of him. Heard thing from him, so in fact, I'm stepping down on a limb till it gets to 7 o'clock.
We have sent Brother Allen some texts. He hasn't yet to respond back. As we get more information, we'll be sure to get this out to everybody. PAC is still needing to bring cookies, so keep that in the back of your mind, that this is something that we as churches can support the baccalaureate with the cookies that we will be making. Usually around the May dinner, and not even the April meeting, but most likely the May dinner, We will have April and May, we'll have a signing sheet with these. That way we have plenty of time for you guys to make them. Is there any questions about the back rate that I haven't spoken of? All right, I'm going to do a slight change on our agenda, and due to the time constraints, I'm going to move up the Ten Commandment Monument. As of last month, we as PAC had voted to go ahead and be the account to oversee the money that will be sent in due to donations and such, so that they may be able to use for this monument as it's needed. From that meeting in private, there was some concerns and questions. So we had a special meeting the following Thursday to discuss that. Brother Ron had some concerns and some questions that was not conducive to what he was looking for as far as answers. So he wanted to think about it, pray about it at first, but I spoke to him just a moment ago. So he wants to go ahead and talk a little bit. He wants to express some of the things that have already happened, and then you want to discuss the concerns, or you want to wait on that?
Yeah, I'm still looking into it, and.
So you want to wait on the concerns?
It'll be all right. But the good news is that I did get a hold of the channel, what do you call yourself? Channel station, and have real good success with AJ and the potential what's coming as far as videos to get it out on the World Wide Web, or whatever that is. So yeah, I'm happy with how things are going. The whole project is slow, but what we're doing, I want to make sure it's done right. And yeah, I might be a little slow with certain things, but I want to make sure it's done right. And so we're still moving along. We haven't committed to any account yet. We're still discussing that, and that's okay. That's part of, what we need to do, working out some initiatives. But overall, I still see it. It's going to go. We're going to get that money in God's time. Okay.
So as Brother Juan explained just a moment ago, as far as the account being put into action, is being delayed for concerns being addressed, which when that comes about, if it cannot be resolved, then we bring it for the PAC to be spoken to at that point in time. So with his respect to him, we'll hold off on talking about concerns. Does anybody have any questions for Brother Ron as far as what he's given as information in Channel 5 and some other things he had stated? Okay. Moving on. Brother Ron, you said you had to go?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so we will move on to our thing that we skipped. Thank you again, Brother Ron.
Do we have to take a recent cookie with us?
Yes, yes. You better like can.
All right, thank you.
Yes. All right, so the next one will be the annual dinner / the Hero Faith Award. I'll turn this over to Sally as far as the annual dinner aspect. If you're,
Yeah.
okay, please.
Okay, well, just so you know, the menu's gonna be a ham dinner, and it costs you $5. And we'll ask for RSVPs in by May the 1st. And you can either email or call, leave a message. The email is info@stjohnpickwa.org. And phone number will be 773-0241. Leave a message.
Does anybody repeat of that?
Oh, yeah, the line 37.
Could you please repeat the contact information for
Yes.
us, please?
We'll pass it down to you.
You want me to?
All right.
All right, the People Association Church's annual meeting is Monday, May 11th, 2020. It is a 6 p.m. dinner, followed by meeting and presentation of the Hero Faith Award at St. John's Lutheran Church, 248 Wood Street, Pickwa, Ohio. Please RSVP dinner reservation by Friday, May 1st. Cost is $5. For message, you got two aspects. You can go the email, which is info, I-N-F-O, at St. John Piqua, STJOHNPIQUA.org. Info at stjohnpiqua.org. Or you may call and leave a message at 937-773-0241. 937-773-0241. Do you have any questions pertaining to the actual dinner? Okay, so let's move on. Thank you. All right, so the second part is our Hero of the Faith Award. If you have remembered correctly, that I had explained last meeting that this would be the meeting that we would take nominees for the Hero of Faith Award. And it has to be done this way because we need to vote in the next meeting, and we need to have it all done and ready and being given to and contact the people who are going to bring them there for that May dinner. So right now, at this point in time, I am taking nominees. Does anybody have a nominee that they would like to bring forth to be a candidate for the Hero of Faith? Okay. Going once. Going twice. Okay. I have a nominee that I would like to bring forth. So I play by my own rules. If I say I want to nominate somebody and you need to have the information, I want to make sure I do the same thing. I would like to nominate for the Heroes of Faith this year Sister Catherine Casey Hines. Their first calling was ministering to South Carolina, and they came to New York, and then he wound up in Piqua, where Sister Casey Hines became the pastor at the Westminster Presbyterian Church from 2008 to 2015. During her pastorate, she was very instrumental in the starting of the cold shelter that we had for the length of time that we have, as well as being very strong into the making of the 9/11 Day of Honor celebration that we had on 6/11/2011 at the Fountain Park, which I'm sure if you guys remember, that was a big ordeal. It was very large and very much well. Okay, so as well as those two things, he also participated in numerous community activities and chairing committees for the city safety levy and the school's permanent improvement levy. So she was very much in the city and the schools, because as you know, because in 2015 to 2019, she then became our mayor. During the time that she was a mayor, she lobbied for prayer to be put into community meetings. It didn't quite make it, but she did try to get prayer in there. She also lobbied state and federal legislations for Piqua. She established monthly meetings with the school superintendent, school board chair, and city manager. She established the Walk with the Mayor and Piqua awards. She established the United Piqua Community Event for Unification. And she also established a reading with the mayor for school kids. She was elected vice president of the Dayton Area Mayors and Managers Association. She served on many community boards, including the Cemetery Board, Tourist Council, United Way, and Citizen for a Better Piqua. She originated and oversees the development of the small town Piqua video. I don't know if any of you guys saw that or not. She attended the Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting for new businesses and business after hours. She attended community events to provide support. She attended the annual Veterans Day. She attended the Memorial Day and Christmas parades. She also was a city sponsor events, including the Fourth Fest, Careful Corners, National Night Out, school tours, and mock commission meeting, as well as attending the monthly Tri-City meetings. She met with developers looking to locate into Piqua. She spoke, provided, and proceeded at numerous events representing and promoting the Pickleball, including the civic organization, We Blow Scouts, Annual New Teachers Day, Great Miami Riverway Summit, Miami Valley Cycling Summit, and the Click It or Ticket. She had proclamations given to recognize community leaders and citizens, and presided over numerous weddings. So she was very much in the community. I have had several conversations with her personally, whether it was from the cold shelter or whether I was talking to her as president to the mayor on behalf of PAC and stuff. And she, I mean, even now she's in another city, but she's still trying to preach and help the church. So I mean, it's all about God. So that is who I would like to nominate, and that is the qualifications I feel that she has.
Paul, I would second that nomination.
Second that nomination? Thank you. Now, we usually do 3 nominees. So I don't want to just cancel this and say, okay, she's it. Now, if we cannot find any more nominees, and since Brother Don did second that motion, then by default, she would then be the one that would receive this coming year's award. But like I said, I want to give everybody opportunity, so between now and the closing of this meeting, if you wish to have someone nominated, please let me know so that when we do the nominee ballots next month, we have the names. So, is there any questions other than the possible nominees on the Heroes of Faith Award? I need you to have AJ edit that, please. Thank you. All right.
It's supposed to be a secret to the
Okay.
person receiving.
That's fine. I told him to cut it.
Yeah, we don't want her to know. All right, so the next thing is the Harvest Day party. Now, when Crystal was here, she gave a list of stuff that people could sign up for, and they haven't been able to return it back. So if you have not signed the sheet to do something for the harvest party, and your church wishes to do that, I will pass this back. It's just real simple, the church name, a contact person, and a number to contact, so that Crystal will be able to contact them. So I'll pass this around, and if you want the church involved and you haven't done it yet, that would be an opportunity. Brother Larry Hine, you want to go ahead and talk about the harvest party, please?
Okay, so we've come down to 3 dates that we need to vote on. October 10th, 17th to the 24th. And we want to get a committee set up by May. And that way we can get it organized the right way, so that it's here, just like somebody said, it takes time sometimes to do things right. So we want to do it right.
That was October, was the month, right?
Yeah, October.
You have anything else, sir? Anything else?
No.
Okay, so he has asked PAC to help choose a date for this harvest party. The 3 days was given as October 10th, October 17th, October 24th, which I believe is Saturdays, right, Larry?
Yeah, they're all Saturdays.
All Saturdays. So, any of these dates strike somebody's fancy that think it would be a better time to have a harvest party? Do we want to go early, middle, or end of the month?
I'll just say the 24th.
All right.
Nobody else is saying anything.
Can I have a second for the 24th? Thank you, Kathy. So, Brother Larry, you can let Crystal know that the date for the harvest party will be October 24th. And when I get that sheet back, Brother Larry, if there is anybody on it, I will give it to you so the Sister Crystal can contact those people and let them know what's available for them to be part of.
Is this the sheet?
Any question about the Harvest Day party?
Is it an afternoon event or what, or is it?
By the amount of things that you want to do with it, I'm thinking it's going to probably be like half in the afternoon to the evening, kind of like that little festival type thing. But that would be something that the committee would have to decide and work on, how they want to handle that. If they want it shorter, longer, that's something they can work for. Okay, so, oh, that's right. Since there has been a motion to take the 24th, all in favor to make the harvest date be on October 24th says aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's not an issue. Okay, the last thing that we will talk about real quick is the nominating committee. Don't take that anymore. Okay, all right, so we know that, and I saw him, we know that Sister Marilyn has been through a lot right now with her husband and sickness and stuff, and he's doing a whole lot better. And I have full confidence in her that by the time, we'll have to probably skip this to next year, May, as far as having here, because unless you can get it done in 2 months.
Well, we should be able to.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Tenants got the years meeting for next Monday.
Okay. So next Monday, they have a,
Don't make it definite yet.
next Monday, there could be a meeting.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay. So as of late, so as far as committees, we know that we need a committee for, what's the wrong one? Which is the right one? We need a committee for Good Friday service, we need a committee for Next Day of Prayer, we need a committee for the Black Laureate, the Harvest Party, and the nominating committee is continuing to gather those things. So the last thing that we're going to talk about before we round table is our new business. And again, I need to express this simply. New business is meant for any business that will affect or need to be handled by PAC. If you have something from your personal church or organization or prayer, please do that on the round table. So are there any new business for PAC at this point in time? Going once, going twice. All right. The thing that we have, and do we have enough, everybody? The thing that we have is that talking about our lift up our church's prayer list. We have recently gone over and gotten some of the new names and transitions that's happened since the last one. As you can tell, it started out for February so that we can try to stay in order of prayer. So please look over this. If you see anything in here that needs to change, as far as dates and pastor's name, please let us know. Otherwise, please go ahead and use this to do your prayers. Any questions about the prayer? Okay, all right. So with that, we will end this by doing the roundtable prayer request. So if any of you have anything that you wish to discuss about things for your church or for your organization, this would be the time. If you have any prayer requests for us to have, please go ahead and do so. Marilyn, you have the least amount of people, so I'll start with you.
I just.
Two now.
Yeah, I thank you for prayers for times that I'm not doing very well. I honestly, church is really busy with things going on that I can't do a concrete report. I don't know. We have not been able to go yet. He's down to his 80s.
Do you have any purpose? No. I don't think.
I will.
Sandy? No? There?
I do have one that I would like the churches to Kettle. And she has been in and out of the hospital for the last 5 months now. She's had an infection in her foot. She had a lot of different problems with this foot, and they talked about cutting it off. And so far, they haven't had to do that. But she's been in ICU, if I counted correctly. I've seen her in ICU 3 different times. 3 different times in the nursing home, with infections in the hospital. Besides that, and a little bit of time that she was sent home. But she has been going back one to the other, and it's really been something else for her for a long period of time, so if you can remember her prayer.
Larry Line, how about you, sir?
Yeah, I do have a prayer request tonight. One of my congregation was talking about somebody that was at a point where they're going to amputate their foot. Brenda Hayes has come to our meeting. She is going through surgery Tuesday for that procedure. She had a lot of issues. She was diabetic. We were praying that God would step in and just take care of it, but maybe He has better. Well, of course He has better. Not maybe He has better way. The other thing is we've got 3 different things going on. If people want to come out and this fellowship. We decided to step on into the community a little bit more and support Pickle Youth Baseball. They're coming to our church on the 19th just to talk about what they're doing. I thought that was a positive thing for the youth, rather than getting in trouble or whatever. They're out there playing baseball, competing, and doing whatever. And then on the 22nd, we have part songs of our Southern Gospel group. And then Forgiven Band is on the 29th. So we've got a lot going on.
What time are all of those?
Our services on Sunday are at 2 o'clock. Thursday night, on the 19th is at 6 p.m. So that's what I have. Oh yeah, also pray for my wife. She lost a person that was like her mother, like another mother. Like sometimes you call somebody else your mom, it's like your mom. And Crystal doesn't cry, and yesterday she was crying for each other. So that's pretty rough.
Brother John, how about you, sir? You have anything to pray, need prayer or want to report? No? Kathy?
My cousin Debbie, Knight, a tornado took her house down in Tennessee. But she wasn't there, and she's living with her daughter right now until her sure her house gets built.
Sister Mary?
Mary?
Got something to say?
Sal?
I don't know if it's prayers this time, but we'd like to invite anybody wanting to come to our Lytton soup suppers we have on Wednesdays at 6. So we usually have soups and some desserts, and then Bible studies. So 6 o'clock, we have 45 minutes of food, and then 45 minutes of Bible study. And Pastor keeps it on time, or we make sure he keeps it on time, so we're done by 7:30, because that's a problem.
Well, of course, continued fish fries on Friday nights, and it's a Pickle Catholic. The 17th, March 17th, they're having an evening of worship. A group from, I'm not sure where, it's up north somewhere, it's the Damascus group. They're basically for the youth. And they have a camp for the summer, and they go to retreats up there. That's for like the high school kids. And they come back really high. So.
Of the Spirit.
Of the Spirit, yes.
Of the Spirit.
I really don't have anything from the church tonight, but Gloria and Paul know this, and you're going to tell it in my voice. bacteria attack my lungs. So I would like for you to just keep me in prayer for a while. The antibiotics, well, first, the antibiotics weren't working. I think this antibiotic is helping. So we just need to make sure we get the right medicines to keep going. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Our church is coming right along. We're still working on it. You think that, you picture in your mind how quick these things should go and that you'll be in the church by this point, and the next thing you realize it's longer than you think, and longer than we think, and longer than you think. But it is coming along, and we're very appreciative of it. I had the opportunity Saturday to re-equip myself with my bus kids. With the way things were going, if I hadn't, it would have been 4 months before I would actually been able to see them. So it took 31 kids to have pizza at our church, and then we played games, and I gave a little word, and we took them to the new church so that they could see it. That way, instead of having empty promises, they have something that they can look forward to. So we all survived it, and by the time I got home, I was a bit tired. I'm very grateful, and I thank God for that. Please keep my wife always in prayer. She has her ups, she has her downs. I don't complain about my lows because of what she goes through. So just keep her in your prayers and in your thoughts. But that's all I have. Brother John, would you be going to end the meeting in prayer, or are you going to pass? I can hear you.
I'll pass.
You pass. Brother Larry Hine, how about you, sir? Will you end the meeting in prayer?
I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this fellowship and coming together in one mind and in one accord and one spirit. Lord, we just ask that you would give us wisdom and knowledge on how we can better reach out to the community. And we just pray for all these needs, all these health needs that have been